Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining this webinar. My goal is to share some new ways of thinking about generative AI for sales enablement. And let me share the title of the webinar. So as you would know, I'm from a Personalize team. I'm CEO and founder. The Personalize Studio is a no-code environment that you can run generative AI at a scale. And today I chose the topic of talking about the big problem that I believe most companies are dealing with today, which is we have a lot of contacts, leads, some warm, some key accounts you want to go after, and we don't have enough capacity to manage them. And there are a variety of data sources we are using these days in our industry, from sources like ZoomInfo, Bombara for intent. Companies are investing a lot on SEO, and they have people coming to the website, fill forms, you name it. There are ways that we can identify unknown visitors, and we can also run ads, use some funding information to go after specific accounts. The idea is we have a variety of sources to engage these leads. So for today, I'm going to talk about how we can tackle this problem with the power of generative AI, and hopefully there would be some new insights, there are new way of kind of approaching this old problem that contribute to your planning and strategy sessions that you have in the company for your sales and marketing. So we are going to talk about some new way of approaching the problem. Looking at the history of customer communication, it started maybe centuries ago. We started with physical letters we are sending to people. I don't know if we do that kind of customer communication. It was very likely we had a long history of face-to-face communication. I started from letters, and then internet came in, and we started to kind of adapt new ways of digital communication through emails. We started to attach files. We started to have videos, and it'll go from async kind of communication to real-time communication. And we started to get overwhelmed with a lot of communication as a business. And so there was opportunity. Now we can reach millions of people through internet. And so we started to adapt technologies like CRMs, and that's a customer relationship management technologies. And they enabled us to organize information about each customer, start taking notes, creating tasks. And that was great. Like, that helps a lot. And then we're still overwhelmed with more and more to deal with this communication. It was the idea was like, now, okay, I have them in a database, a modern CRM, but still I need to communicate with them, and I don't have the capacity of a human to go after them and keep them engaged with my business. And we started to use some solution of like automation. The reality of a world, maybe it's I don't know that how far we are. It's like a year, 2 years ago, that when we were talking about sales communication or marketing communication with customers, even I was working on chatbots a few years ago, and we were talking about mass communication. The quality, the level of sophistication we could get, it was far from the authenticity that a human can do when they are talking together. And we had either templates that it wasn't converting. It started to overwhelm customer with generic values, props, like generic messages, and as a result, the business had a lot of opportunity in front of them, but they didn't have any way to communicate with them. The only way was human. That was super expensive. So we are talking about, okay, I have that. How can we address that? And generative AI came as a new, maybe the first contender to humans. And I'm going to show you, and we are going to brainstorm about possibilities that that was a new way. Like if my claim is right, that we can use generative AI to mimic human, the way we are communicating together, and we can listen to each other and we can communicate. We are in a new era of customer communication. We can reach people at a scale, talking to them about in each individual. We treat them uniquely in the way a human will do in an individual level. Some people say, okay, there is an idea of tech start talking to people and it doesn't feel right. But the thing is, if you are a business and you have those customers connected with your business by past purchases, or they came to some kind of activities you are doing around your business, you have that relationship. And you can even mention this is a technology powered by ChatGPT or whatever, but the idea is you are communicating with them because they cared about your solutions, about your business. And that's why we need a way to engage them properly. I'm going to show you a couple of live examples, and I will keep it in a live examples. And just want to what I learned is sometimes we need examples to come up with new ideas for our own business. And I want to chat with ChatGPT and with some examples, and then we kind of explore possibilities that we can reach with the new generation of AI models that are coming to market every day. We are going to have some live examples. So I'm going to open my ChatGPT and I'm going to use GPT-4. I can use ChatGPT 3.5 as well, but we can try both of them. And the idea I want to start with is, as I mentioned, I want to talk a bit about prompting and the way we are communicating with these language models. And I do have a course on prompt engineering talking about how to, if we are going to consider using generative AI to automate some tasks for our team, for our human resources, we need to understand that we need to take some steps, and there's the opportunity to work with this technology, but we shouldn't give them more than they can manage as a responsibility. We need to keep it reliable and make sure that they are consistently generating good quality results. But the one of the pieces that I want to share with you is some examples of prompting. And my hope is kind of, at least I communicate some of those principles that I'm teaching in my prompt engineering course with you guys. So hopefully that would be like a foundation for a more advanced conversation we have later. So I created a number of examples, and I started with like a simple example of, again, the Joe and CEO of Macrack. It's just maybe this is the same name, but I just chosen a random name, a random title, and I'm going to write an email from myself to this person. And as you see, there is a placeholder as company website scraped content, and I'm going to explain that. But before I explain it, I'm going to copy paste it here. And the only thing I'm going to do is I want to replace it with something from their website. So if I go there in the home page and select maybe some information, select from their website, and come here and paste it and run it, what I would expect is a clean emails from me to Joey, and I would want you to read it with me. So Hamed here from Personalize. I'm impressed with Makarak's comprehensive PR platform. It's a real game changer in media relations. I'm curious, have you considered integrating generative AI like ChatGPT for crafting engaging emails? It could add another layer of innovation to your tool set. Let's chat about it, and how about a quick meeting to explore the possibilities. The email is concise. It talks about there's a personalization there, and I'm kind of I'm treating this person with a message that is tailored to their own business. We are going to explore more advanced versions, but let's say moving from a template to this version, and the quality, as you see, we've been working with different people with different background and seniority. Sometimes the email we are seeing here is like, I don't know, 80 words. It takes 10, 15 minutes, easily even more, to just go and research and come up with it, how I can concisely engage this person. So this is kind of a version of that. Now, when I showed you, now I showed you the output. Let's go back and see what I provided to the info to this model. So this is where I'm going to talk about steps I'm taking and the way I would structure my prompt. Each prompt, there is a specific task that we expect the model to do. Sometimes a couple of steps, and we need to make sure the model takes responsibility for and do it for us. In this example, I want to write an email to Joey with this title in this company name, and the sender is me. And this is about company name. Actually, I needed to update this as well to Mark Rack, but it figured that part. I was okay with it. And the pitch is here. And there is an instruction. There is a thing that I expect to be there. Like, well, this is my pitch. Use this pitch. This is the CTA. This is what I want to invite them to a conversation. Use this tone. And there are requirements. Like they need to meet this word limit. They should keep it less than 100 words. And the other thing is when they return it, I want to make sure that they don't include the subject line. So as you see, if I go back here, it did the same. Like it gave me very likely less than 100 words. Please trust me. So I'm going to show you what this is. Like we can easily see that. The other thing is it's clean. There is nothing before and after that. So the email is we consider error free. Why it's error free is sometimes we have errors of being factual. There is a hallucination we have to address. There is an error, a grammatical error, or there is a tone and voice of the brand that we need to have it there, the way we are talking to customers. So again, there are not lots of nuances we can add to get there, but if I copy paste it in my automation tools, there's nothing. It's clean. There's nothing like an extra here or after. So it's ready to go. So with good instruction. And providing the information, we provided a task to do. We provided some kind of specific key elements of this email that we want to follow, and there is also some of the hard constraints, so you have to work within that, and you have to avoid things like this. And the other thing is, you see, I put a not human readable, it's a machine readable copy paste of the script content of the website of this business. So essentially what happened here is I gave it the context. So talking about a good prompt, we had a task, we had some details about what the task would entail, and then we provide the context because we need to fit the model with what it needs to use to personalize and deliver what you're expecting to deliver with it. So that's the key part that very important to consider. So this is a simple example. So I did that, and I provided the context, and the ChatGPT, which is one of the, I think, most powerful language model in the market at the moment, did a good job and followed my instruction. I'm going to go to a bit more complex steps. This time, I'm going to ask the model to take 2 steps. And the step 1 is I want the model to research itself. So I don't want to provide anything raw data here. I'm going to show you how it works. And in GPT-4, it also has tools or plugins, so it goes and read online about this company and bring that back into bring back into its own processing, so it can use it step by step and write that for me. So if I copy paste this and come here and start a new one and paste it here, the first thing I will see is ChatGPT start using Bing to research this company and try to understand who they are, what they do, and then write the email for me. A couple of things I'm going to, that's good that I have this email here. So let me go to Word counter kind of website. So if I come here and count the number of words here, it should be, again, it's okay, so like 100 words. It's just, there are elements that GPT-4 decided if I want to just change the tone or kind of focus on directly ask for meeting, I can do it. If I want to just make it more, there is a research or that talks about asking for interest versus asking for meeting. It results in the same thing, but kind of sometimes you allow people to just see if they are interested. It triggers different part of their brain. And so you can play with them based on your understanding of your domain. But what happened here was I used one prompt, and the model went ChatGPT-4 break it down into 2 tasks. We see it one interface, but actually behind the scene, it goes and read about the MacRack and bring it back and take the next step, which is writing about it. So, and as you see, it did a good job again. But I just want to build some foundations about these language models are great writers, and but we need to fit them with information. We need to fit them either manually by copy pasting. We need to use, I'm going to show you other ways to do it, or we need to make sure that there are plugins or tools the system support. So we have to fit it with the accurate data. So we can't expect the model to know everything. And actually, that's the wrong way of thinking about chat. There are the other thing that I wanted to show is both models, the number 1 and number 2, is both of them. Both of them demonstrated 2 unique capabilities this generative AI offers to us, which wasn't possible maybe again 2 years ago, which is it can read like human. Which is sometimes we forget that it read the website, it comprehended and came up with an interesting angle to talk. And I would weigh that part evenly than the writing skill, that it can write and mimic the way we are writing. So it's a good reader. It can read at a scale. And a lot of time we need to research our market, understand where they are. I have 5 questions about every company that I can sell to. I need to ask these 5 questions, and if to answer them, I have to go and research them to answer them. I don't want to write anything to them yet. I just want to prioritize them. Maybe I just want to find that needle in a haystack. So it can become that asset for you. Earlier versions of us, that was our advantage. That was was what we were offering. So a lot of B2B companies, they don't want to go after millions. They want to find hundreds, maybe a couple of thousands within those millions that they know they can have a good relationship and build that rapport. They have technical sales, they have more complex solutions and offerings. So we were reading at the scale and trying to find that needle in a haystack. And later we were able to write, and I'm going to show it to you. So this is the second model. So what I'm trying to show you is give you a taste of prompting. There is no magical word. Maybe there is, but there are some best practices that you can always learn and utilize. But essentially, I need to have very clear messaging and send it. Another example that I'm adding another step that forcing the model to personalize my pitch. So I don't want to just talk about generative AI. I just want to force the model to think, and I wanted to push the model to say what kind of pitch it came up with, and show it to me, and then write the email. So there is a technique that kind of you force ChatGPT to reason, to think, to comprehend by sharing that, and slowing down the thinking process for ChatGPT or other language models. We have the opportunity to go deeper and deeper in the way this model can comprehend information. That's a hack. There's a lot I'm covering in my prompt engineering course, but that's the kind of steps I wanted to bring your attention to. So I want to make sure that, like, with that said, I'm going to show you a couple of more advanced example. To make sure that we are on the same page, some people might see me now a bit later. We are going to talk about the topic of the webinar, which was this is the issue we have. We have a huge market. We have a lot of people who we added to our CRM over years, and we need to figure a way to manage them, manage our communication with them, and that means there are two requirements. We need to know them, and we need to write to them. Knowing them means that we have to read their website, their social media, we have to read their previous purchases, look at their email they sent, the call scripts they may have, the meeting transcripts from sources we have. Anything that we need to read it and then comprehend it and utilize it for adding more value and bringing more those customers back to the business for hopefully boosting our revenue and at the same time giving them value. So this is the kind of the challenge we wanted to talk, and that's I hope I'm going to deliver you some ideas. First, I needed to establish that generative AI is and the first alternative to human, and it can read and it can write. So the question is how we bridge that with the few SDRs we have. So we can't kind of scale that, and we need the generative AI. But generative AI, using ChatGPT interface, we are not able to get to that quality, to that scale and volume that we need to do. So that's a kind of with your permission, I'm going to talk about personalized studio and how we are running generative AI like ChatGPT at massive scale. And there are a couple of steps in my prompts I designed for the beginning. I wanted to communicate a couple of principles that I will use the same way in Personalize. And in the Personalize, we break down the task that for a human is, okay, I write to these 10 people and you go and just do it. But the thing is, we need to translate that complex task, as I showed you in the simple prompts, into smaller steps and tasks. Sometimes we need to divide them into two completely separate steps. So just ChatGPT focus on reading the website, summarizing, come up with key points, and the other runner of ChatGPT just focus on comprehending that information and writing. So there are SDRs play a key role, but they don't want them draft things, they don't want them research things, and that chunk we are going to take care of it with generative AI. And then SDR take over and do their magic after and to win those customers. So with that said, I'm going to personalize, and I'm going to show you a couple of examples. I'm going to show you first some results I generated. Thanks God I did it, because I wanted to run it together, and we didn't have time, and maybe if the time allows, we'll do it next time. But essentially, as you see, there is a list of people. They have the title, I have the company name. There's a duplicate of the first one. That's okay. That's good to compare. And they have the LinkedIn URL of the company, LinkedIn summary of the person, and they have location and company website, and there are a couple of columns that I added after. So essentially, this is if I want to translate when we are thinking about our customers. In the way we are storing them into our CRM, and we are storing them in any other tools we are using, is a table. Each row of that table is one customer, and each columns are talking about one dimension, one data points about that customer. This is the title of the person. This is what they purchased before. This is their website URL. This is the LinkedIn URL, and you have a lot of dimensions about that person. that's the principle that we are sticking to even in Personalize. So instead of working with one specific company, we are working with tables. We are working with data sets. And this table exists in your so mainly everything end up there, but there might be other tools you're using for automation, for marketing. But at the end, you would have a table like this. And I removed a lot of personal data, but I needed to keep it real for the company name and to make it meaningful. So what I did, we have a number of columns we added. So to bigger picture, we have a table and everything's there. But the way generative AI works is read from the table and then process it, and it needs to put it somewhere because it needs to memorize it for the next step. So the next time that generative AI is going to use it, it just needs to take over of what already exists. So this is the way I would translate it into what we do is I need ChatGPT go and read public data on the LinkedIn about this person LinkedIn profile, and then put it somewhere. And that's all. That's one task. Go read it and give me a summary of this person. This is Caleb. This is who he is and where he studied. And this just want to know some kind of high level what he does. And then and put it there. You are done. This is a small task I expected the model does. Go read. This is again, this is a two task. And then pass that corpus of text, which is very complex, give me a summary that I can utilize as a salesperson to write to that person. The same thing happens with the company URL. And we go and read LinkedIn and we try to digest it into something smaller. And we would want to know what this company does, who they are, and so on and so forth. And then we have the company website, the same thing. If you remember on the UI, we copy paste it or use a tool. But the way Personalize works, we are building a pipeline, a chain of steps that together they are going to mimic a salesperson. To do that, we need to scrape, again, I showed you the examples. I'm going to use mimic the same example in Personalize, which is I want to read their website, and this is the scraped content from their website. It's machine readable. I'm okay with it to be like this. I'm not reading it. Actually, the next model is going to read it. So what I told so far, I need to take steps. I put them in a chain. I'm going to show you how that chain would look like in Personalize. And then I need to save that, what generative AI would do for me, back to the table as a new columns. And as you see, I have some columns for the email it writes. There's different techniques I use for writing emails. And if I show you the email, for example, this one, you see there is an email, hey, Caleb, there's an email, it's concise. And this time the difference is I can move to different people. Again, there were two people, to Caleb. We have Lisa, there is some information about that. And then I can continue this to other people. The big difference that happened from my earlier presentation in ChatGPT to here is we don't write one email at a time. Once I'm happy, like I run it for 5, then I run it for 10, then I run it for maybe 10, 20, 50. When I see my chain consistently does a good job on mimicking my salesperson, the way it's research and write and follow up. I have that pipe that run working. Now I scale to a couple of thousand to the rest of my data, and suddenly I had thousands of emails. That's the piece that would require batch processing we have to do to get to the point that now we can say, hey, if I have this list of a couple of thousands and I have limited SDRs, I can pass it through this pipe, this chain of models, and suddenly I automated, I don't know, work of 10 SDRs on researching and drafting those emails. There are techniques I used the same ChatGPT as one of the chain model to read and self-correct itself. So there are a QA model here, and I'm going to show it to you hopefully briefly, but I'm going to aim for 10 minutes. I have to show you one more thing, and then I have to wrap up this session. And so let's go here, and I want to show you how I generated this email, which is hi Caleb. And as you remember, I did the same. There was no title, there's no subject. It ends with my signature. So if I want to show that how it did it, I need to go to a different tab. We call it skill, and then we have run. So if I go to skill, I have a variety of models I wanted to show you, doing follow-ups, writing LinkedIn invites, different ways of reading a website content, sometimes with explicitly reasoning, sometimes there are different techniques we use, but I'm going to show you the simplest one, because I always need to start with the simplest example. The thing is, I would go with the system message a bit later, but this is exactly what we, if I give you a bit of time to read it, is write an email to first name, the title at company name. This is the same sender. And about this company name, this is company scraped content.
And this is my pitch, and you remember the rest of that exactly when I did it with ChatGPT. This is the same way we are communicating with language models, ChatGPT and other ones. The difference is we have dynamic variable placeholder. So what it translates to is when we run this skill, which is actually is a if you go to GPT marketplace, we have GPT, and it is kind of resemble that capability. So behind it, this GPT run on GPT-4 ChatGPT engines, but there is an instruction which in a developer side they call it system message. You give it a persona and give this skill a kind of how to treat information and communication per row, and then there is a specific instruction for that given task, and essentially this is each skill is designed to do one thing good, get this dynamic variable in per row and deliver whatever it's supposed to do. Sometimes it's an email, sometimes it's a follow-up, sometimes it's a summary of the person, and so on and so forth. So as you see, there are 4 variables here. And what happened when I showed you that email, this email, it's essentially I'm going to show you that actually. I'll just go to next step. So if I go so I showed you that this is a skill. The skill is like a GPT marketplace, but each skill is responsible to take in some variable from that row and deliver something in another column for that row as an output. And there would be another model will utilize that. So if I go to run, which is where I chain these things together. Actually, before I go there, there are 3 types of skills. One is bespoke that you will build for your own organization. There are nuances of how you would talk with customers. There are lots of magical things you can do here. There are certified and say, I'm a business person. I don't know. It is a very complex task I'm going to do. And you get some expert to do it for you and do all this magical prompting. And then you have it here and you can use it. And it's like ready to go. And if there is an issue, that person will take care of it, but they don't see your data. They just do the job. They just sample data you send to them to just test it and perfect it, and then it's you can pass your own data without exposing it to an external resource, which is one of the key things. We want people with creative brains and under good prompting, which is a new skill set in the market. They come and help our business, but we don't want to overshare or make it a very big project. We just want to have this types of data. I want this output, make it happen for me with your magical work. And there are tools there are 2 of them are public. One is it goes and reads LinkedIn. The other one is a web scraper that reads their website, the public data, and and that's that. So with that knowing, so we have a table in the data layer, we have a skills, and we go to run. When I get to the run, I would need to create a new run. So I don't need to save my table. I'm good. And I can add the steps here. One of the things I want to show you is I can create a new run, or I can go to the runs I already did and show you how I get there. And then you would get my idea. So this is the run I did actually. I think that's the one I did for writing those emails. Maybe this is a table Apollo HubSpot ABM. So this is my table. I chose 1 to 5. For this account, we have 5 max, but the number can be a couple thousands. But typically, for protecting the accounts of users, because you push a button and suddenly you just trigger thousands of kind of functions that to work on the cloud. So we need to start small, and we per request we add that and make sure that you are protected. And once we did that, the second step we have is web scraper as you see in one of our tool goes and there's a description for that what it does, and then you pass the column in your table you chose the company website URL and say, hey, read this column and put it in another column which is the scrape website content. So that's one step, that's one small tiny task, and you are done. So the same thing I showed you in ChatGPT, we need to build one piece of that big task with a smaller task. And the one task I want to have. So this is web scraper. Just get the URL, return to me the content of that. And if I go to next one, okay, you are the email writer. I want you to use the first name per row, get the title of the person. So we are mapping the variable used into the prompt. As you remember, this is the variable we had, and company name and company name. So these are the 4 variables, and I want to map them here. And then the script content goes here, and then say, hey, the destination, I want you print the output, the generated email into email basic column. Use OpenAI. Currently in the public version, you can only see OpenAI, but we are adding more engines. And then you just put your key here and choose the model. The thing is kind of because it's a rerun, it doesn't show me other models to make sure that I don't make a mistake. So if I want to just do it, I need to choose my OpenAI again, and now I can select any models that I want, and I can choose GPT-4, for example. The other thing that is, if you're advanced, you already know. So once we have a couple of hundreds of emails or something that you perfect, that you love, and you have edited some, you're perfect at it, like it's kind of, you know, these are the type of the emails you want to send to customer. You run a fine tuning on OpenAI. We just need a piece of code to run it and make it a JSON-L format, and suddenly you have your own models here. These are old model, Curie and Da Vinci, but essentially you have your own model. You can call it Hamed Plus, and that would be my way of writing emails. And I would do your own my model on that, and then I have like some kind of advanced variables, and then I would put a name and put a name and update the file. Our integration is coming. We had HubSpot and then other ones, but it is a new version, so we are upgrading everything. But if you have a question, some of them are available in private beta, so just let us know. But essentially, I worked on that complex task into a smaller task, and I ran it here. So I can if I choose, like I want to update this one, I can run it again, but it's already there. It helped him. It helps me to just show it to you. But sometimes when I'm successful with 5 of them, let's say I love this model, and I say, hey, I nailed it, and from 1 to 6, and say, okay, now I want to run it from 6 to 11, and yeah, the range of 5. So I can for this I can have 5. I start from 6. Now I wrote for the first 5. Let's go 6. I guess it was 6, and now go another 5. Essentially, if you are advanced, you would have maybe, oh, now we go for 50. Now go for 100, and you just see how you can scale consistently, and then you just rerun it, and over time you see that your table is filling out with emails, and that's that. I want to wrap up. I was super excited to show you other things, like how I would follow up, things like that. I even have a model that there are 3 agents. I use GPT-4 to come up with a 3 persona and chat together and discuss why persona is good for this company, and that's fun. But my hope is kind of keep it interesting for you guys for the next time. But essentially, there are tons of things you can do here, and if you have the database of past purchases, you can use what they purchase and bring a bit of humor and engage them to bring them back to your e-commerce or to your business to buy new things that they can enjoy, and so on and so forth. So with that, I will stop, finish the presentation,